jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know. The first in the building. Carlos is on deck. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Then what's going on here with the UFC? Yeah, we're going to get down to it. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to everyone that's inbound. You do what you want to do. I just feel that I have enough individuals who's been around social media long enough to know if you support the channel, you support the channel. Grown ass adults telling people to hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, and all this other stuff. I'm not here to babysit, man. If you support the channel, you support the channel, man. That's all I can tell you. If I gotta tell somebody who's on social media, who's aware of social media, to hit the like button, I'm pretty much enforcing you to hit the like button. Let's get down to it, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to the UFC. The winners and losers of the UFC 335 million class action settlement. Yes, to some, those numbers are high. For me, extremely. You know what I'm saying? But for 335 million, they settled, and we're going to talk about it. But first, I want to get to some other underlining topics, okay? Rolly Romero, who has a fight coming up with Isaac Cruz, right? You know, Romero has had, I don't know what he did behind the scenes or what the conversation was behind closed doors, but man, he has been gifted a special part in his history to be world champion. Real talk. First, we saw it in Connecticut, where Jackson Mariñez clearly beat Rolly, but they gave him the fight. So he won an interim belt. Then he goes in there, gets stopped by Tank in 6, and then moves up to 140 and gets an immediate title fight where Tony Weeks had to step in and rob Israel Barroso of a world title. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? This is where we at now. He's attempting to defend that world title. And what he just did was purchase a Chihuahua. Why? Because he said he had to get to know Isaac Cruz much more intimate. You know what I'm saying? He need to get more familiarization with Isaac Cruz. Now, one thing I've come to realize about Rolly, he has a pretty decent sense of humor. I'm not gonna lie. I had to apologize for just criticizing the shit out of him for being half retarded. Maybe he's been able to master that, you know, because his sense of humor is crazy. I mean, it's funny as hell, dog. And right now in boxing, we need a sense of humor. We need those type of Rolly Romero vibes, man. Him, you know, walking that Chihuahua in the gym. I mean, just seeing Rolly's face, you know how he acts as a person in general, and seeing that Chihuahua, man, look all innocent. He don't know he's being played. It was hilarious, man. I mean, classic. He might be trash at shit talking, but his personality and the goofiness outside of the press conference is funny as hell. I'm not gonna lie, very funny. Let me see what else in. Jay on deck. I see you, man. What's good with it? Shout out to Christopher White in the building. What's good with it, Christopher? Salute to you, brother. Jay is on deck. Spence versus Thurman both coming off layoffs. and injuries. We want to see it. Okay, I see where you at with it. Okay, okay, I like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to worry about making a non-title fight. You know, the commission not approving it and shit like that. That'll be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? No. Spence and Thurman ain't never fought in the professional ranks at all. But let me slide through and just speak on this right quick. Canelo Alvarez mentioned that David Benavidez brings no money to the table for me. Just 25 pounds more on fight night. He's nothing to offer me money. But if one promoter who work with comes and say, I'll offer to you 150, 200 million, I'll fight tomorrow. See, Canelo is channeling his inner Anthony Joshua, his inner AJ, because AJ jumped online without Eddie Hearn's permission back in the day and said, you give me 50 million to Deontay Wilder, I'll fight you tomorrow. And then when the money was presented, AJ disappeared and they came out with AJ has to sign to fight his WBA mandatory, else he'd be stripped. So that's how they shut that down. And it seems like Canelo is just channeling his inner AJ with the nonsense. Also, when you look back at the boxing matches that we all remember, right? Canelo should thank, certain individuals for allowing him to be a dance partner. You understand me? He should be very, very thankful for certain individuals allowing him to be a dance partner. That being numero uno, Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Floyd Mayweather. He should thank, because Floyd Mayweather allows him to be in the top 5 of highest grossing boxing pay-per-view matches of all time. Okay? Thanks to Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay? So, thankful to Floyd, he even gets any exposure when it comes to money. The reason why I'm mentioning this is he still cannot break the top 5 again without, just doing it himself. He can't do it, y'all. I'm gonna go even further. Okay? I'm gonna go even further. Canelo Alvarez, since fighting Floyd Mayweather, hasn't even been able to break the top 10 of highest grossing pay-per-view fights of all time. Canelo haven't even been able to drop in the top 10 and prove to the people that he can do this by himself. Why is that, people? He's trying to sit up here and bamboozle. He's trying to sit up here and hoodwink the boxing fans by turning down David Benavidez and say only thing he presents is 25 more pounds on fight night. Boy, I swear that's some bitch assness. That's some bitch assness right there. Because there was certain individuals that allowed you to move up, and they didn't talk that you was talking. You want to say what David Benavidez don't bring, but outside of Floyd Mayweather, you have not been able to allow yourself to register one of the highest grossing pay-per-views in the top 10 ever without Floyd Mayweather. You haven't proven that you this mega star via the pay-per-view numbers, Canelo. So for you to just crap and shit on David Benavidez when all he's trying to do is challenge himself, and you happen to be the undisputed super middleweight world champion, the first to do it in the 4 belt, it's just bad. It's just real bad. It's a bad look, man. You acting like a diva. I don't like it. You want to outprice yourself with a quote. You know what I'm saying? 150, 200. You want to just outprice yourself and put it out there to the media so it can go viral. For Canelo to be 33, he's proven that he's much older than that. He's proven that, y'all. He's proven that he's much older when it comes to his internal being. Because you look at him turning, professional 15 years old, and possible all the damage that he's taken, the punches. He's a lot more grumpier than the usual 33 years old, especially to be making the money that he's making. And he's acting like he's a Mexican grandpa right now, because he's picking all the fights that he really don't have to put no work in. Look at Jamel Charlo. Easy. Look at Jaime Munguia. Look at Jaime. Look at John Ryder. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to get the Operation Comeback, fight John Ryder. And then, he gets in there. And, the male Charlo was a travesty. He didn't really have to put no work in on that. And then here you go, Jaime Munguia. He's bowing every chance he get because he's just happy to breathe the same air as Canelo on the same stage. I'm being honest, y'all. But if you look in the top 10, Canelo haven't been able to do shit outside of Floyd Mayweather. Now I'm going to even go down a little bit deeper for y'all, right? I'm going to take the shovel just a little bit deeper. You know what I'm saying? To get to the core where the lava's at. Canelo Alvarez has never broken into the top 15 since dancing with Floyd Mayweather. Okay? I just want to be clear. I still have my little small E-tool from the Marine Corps. And I've been digging. I'm trying to find the core. I'm trying to find some oil, something. And if I go down the top grossing pay-per-views, I'm going to see Floyd Mayweather's name. I'm going to see Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to see Miguel Cotto. I'm going to see Mike Tyson. I'm going to see Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see Canelo proving that he's this pay-per-view king, this moneymaker, this prize fighter that everybody should pay attention to when it comes to him fighting a former champion who he selected to scoop up the belt because of his his connection. You know what I'm saying? His appraising value. Who he knows. I just think it's BS. So I'm not going to take too much time on this. I'm going to let that shit ride and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the GOAT Big Bumps and Boxing in the building. Salute to you. So let me remove Canelo from my presence. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the duck of all ducks, man. You make it to the top 5. Floyd Mayweather gave you a chance. You make it to the top 5. And then all of a sudden you just, oh no, I'm not flying anymore. Most of my traveling is just going to be on the ground. I'm not really flying no more. I don't want to put in that extra effort. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to do shit. Let's get back to the UFC. For quite some time, right? I think since 2017. Let me see. It's been a while. It's been several years. But there were former UFC fighters who had put in a lawsuit against the UFC to pretty much advocate for a better structure, to basically open it up to force the UFC to better organize their infrastructure when it comes to paying their fighters. You know what I'm saying? And the antitrust lawsuit, the numbers ran up to about 1,200 former fighters. That's why I said you really can't get wrapped up in the 335 million, because just think about how you're going to split that. All right? Stay tuned. Less than 1 month prior to his previous scheduled trial start date, okay, they were set to go to trial, and a lot of areas of their operation would have been exposed if they went to trial. Now, I've been paying close attention to this. I know like the Kung Lees, John Fitches, who else? It was so I think Randy Couture was in there. Man, it was just so many well-known fighters that was a part of this lawsuit. And people always talk about how the UFC pretty much monopolized MMA. You know what I'm saying? The way they did it was it forces their neighbors or their competitors to pretty much don't have a out to pretty much compete with them. They are the premier promotion of mixed martial arts, and their money is long. So this antitrust lawsuit had 1,200 former fighters, which is a lot, and they were set to go to trial within a month. Let's keep it moving. This is from MMA Junkie. Okay, less than 1 month prior to his previously scheduled trial start date of April 15th, UFC parent company TKO Group Holdings Incorporated and the group of former fighters officially reached a settlement March 13 that was revealed Wednesday in an SEC disclosure. The general terms of the settlement include $335 million payment by the UFC with exact terms expected in a longer form document in the coming days. A TKO statement to the SEC stated, "The payment is tax deductible and will occur over time in periodic installments. It is unclear exactly how the payments will be divided. We are pleased with the settlement and will disclose more when we file with the court in 45 to 60 days. The plaintiffs wrote on X shortly after the news of the settlement was first reported by John Nash. "We love all these guys." Okay, let me break down the numbers. First of all, I'm pretty sure how they're going to pay these fighters, like I said, is going to be over a period of time. I don't know what this installment agreement is going to be, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to wait. Okay, them going to court, this what would have happened. If the fighters, the former UFC fighters would have went to court and lost, they would have been SOL. But this talking about the winners and losers. You think of 335 million, you say to yourself, the UFC were the losers. No, not so much. Because if they would have went to court, the UFC, then they would have been forced to expose how their operations actually function. It would have been information that's revealed that no one really knows about. You know what I'm saying? Especially not the fighters. Because you know how the chain of command goes. It goes from the top down. No one really knows. But if they would have went to court and this would have dragged out until agreement was reached, whether it was in favor of the fighters or in favor of the UFC, the UFC would have had to disclose certain business practices on how they function as a promotion. And then it would have allowed possibly something else, for them to understand, like other promotions and stuff, to know, okay, this is how the UFC is operating. Because pretty much people were saying that there were some violations of the Muhammad Ali Act. It's a whole lot of underlying deep rooted areas of the UFC on where they don't pay their fighters accordingly. You know what I'm saying? They still getting considerably underpaid, so to speak. But court would have had to bring all that to the surface. It would have been exposed, highlighted, and then people would have been aware of what they've been assuming all this time. You know what I'm saying? Now they would have had full awareness and education from the court, hearing all this information come out about the UFC. So the UFC pretty much won. In this case, real talk, check this out. They won because, yes, the company itself is way more than 335 million. But what it does is they settle. These fighters cannot do anything else. They have to wait because they file in 45 to 60 days. They can't do anything else with it. And it pretty much limits or stops the UFC from going to court and revealing how they run their business. And I think that was one of the big deals too, that the UFC did not want to disclose how they, run their functions of operations. They didn't want that. They didn't want to be in court for that long period of time. That could have dragged out for an extended period, like 3-5 years. It could have dragged out for quite some time, man. And let's talk about who certain fans are looking at the former fighters this winter. Okay. So peep this. When you hear $335 million initially, you say, damn, that's some good money for whoever's getting that in an antitrust lawsuit. It looks very good on their behalf. But when you have 1,200, and then I'm pretty sure some attorneys have to be paid. They say it's going to be tax deductible. So you're looking at possibly each person out of the 335 million, if it's exactly that, a little over 200,000. Now, a little over 1,000 is still good money, because these fights, unless you're at the top of the food chain, you're not getting fed like that. So kudos to them. In a way, the promotion won big because they can put this to bed. But also the fighters, they took an L on this. Even though they're getting paid a little amount of money, it's nothing comparable to what potentially the fighters was asking for. Check this out. The fighters was in the lawsuit was seeking $894 million to $1.6 billion in damages. And these centered around the alleged violations of the Sherman Act. Class actions lawsuit allow for triple damages, and meaning the court could have tripled the amount it required the UFC to pay. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a really win-win if those particular fighters had long pockets. One thing about the UFC, they have long pockets, and they have a legal team that's able to go to war, if it requires going into the courtroom and handling this type of freaking legality. And that's what you're seeing right here. You know what I'm saying? The UFC said, hey, let's go ahead and settle. It's nothing. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It is what it is, man. We'll recover. And then guess what? Once this news broke, the stocks even went up. The stocks went up for the UFC because this was keeping it at a certain percentage, or I forgot the number to use. The terminology to use, but this lawsuit was like weights on the UFC and how people was looking at it via the stock market and all that. I'm not really into that type of deal, but yeah, it was dragging a little bit because people did know the UFC had this antitrust lawsuit pending against them. So it was affecting their worth, with growing stock. But supposedly they boosted up over $1 billion or something when the stock percentage went up after the settlement had hit the news and everything. Crazy, dog. Crazy, man. Crazy. Seriously, that's crazy right there. But I'm happy for the fighters, man. Seriously, I'm happy for the fighters. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's see what's over here. I totally agree. It is sell because Keith can have some real history. So let's get to the reality that certain people don't want to talk about. First of all, the individual that mentioned is Spence and Thurman. I like that fight. That's a good idea. I like that. Spence and Thurman, both showing that they're fragile packages in boxing right now. And one is due to being at the hands of a destructive freaking messenger, which was Terrence Crawford, delivered the message that I'm better than you, Spence. And then Thurman just being out of the ring too long, trying to get his body back in rhythm, trying to get his body acclimated to those fight camp hours, the rigors that has to go along with it, and his body couldn't hold up. Now he's out. The good thing about it is that I would like to see Spence Thurman, because we all remember when Thurman had those belts, the WBC and the WBA, and when Spence was the IBF champion, every chance he get, he was trying to call out. Well, he wasn't trying, he was. He was calling out Thurman, y'all. Over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And Thurman wouldn't have no parts of it. And then he went on the hiatus. He was out the sport. Sure enough, his WBC belt finally became vacant. And that's when you seen Sean Porter and Danny Garcia fight for it. And then we already know the deal with the WBA. But anyway, I would like to see that fight. But putting a screeching halt to that, did Terrence Crawford retire Spence? Because there's word that has been out here circulating that no one really knows when Spence is going to return. Did Terrence Bud Crawford, the Omaha Monster, did he inflict enough treacherous, I'm talking about deep, did he punish that man so bad that he may not ever step in the ring again? Like, us talking about Keith Thurman and Errol Spence may happen in an exhibition 10 to 15 years from now. Real talk, we got to put that in perspective, y'all. But to keep it positive now, we want to keep it positive. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep it positive. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about to be Thursday. That's one day close to the weekend. We want to keep it positive. Is there anything wrong with Errol Spence retiring from the sport at the hands of Terrence Bud Crawford? No, it's not. It's not, because you have your health. The referee stopped the fight in the ninth. It's just a lot of concerns I have about, everything that has been a residual effect of Errol Spence bragging about living out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? He raves about that. He was goddamn adamant about that on stage. You know what I'm saying? I always lived out. That's what I do. He was letting Crawford know. And then Crawford said, don't let me take my belt off. And then he said, I ain't your kid. He got pissed. He said, what are you talking about taking your belt? I ain't your effing kid. But see, when you don't have people around you that's going to correct you or look out for your best interest, because it should have been somebody in that inner circle to say, Spence, look at the end game. All right? Look at the end game, Spence. The end game is for you to step in the ring for that undisputed. In the process, y'all, knowing that he was trying to fight Canelo Alvarez. Okay? All right? He was trying to fight Canelo Alvarez. But everybody believed he was focused on Crawford. In the meantime, it wasn't anybody in his inner circle that was able to steer him correctly and keep him away from those white cap stage 4 freaking waves. And Bud almost drowned that kid. He almost drowned the freaking Spence. If the ref would have been one of those who let the fight go on and on, it could have been very, very bad, even worse than what it was for Spence. And I think, the cumulative damage that he took from the accident, from drinking, from doing whatever he was doing, to the ass whooping that he took at the T-Mobile Las Vegas, July 29th, aka the what? T-Mobile massacre. I think it may be a bit more difficult for him to physically get back into the groove because it's just so many things that's not linking up. You know what I'm saying? The headquarters up top is not mechanically and functioning correctly. The messages aren't being delivered. He may want to go in there and jump rope, but he keep on messing up. And then Diddy James up there said, "Hey, I gotta take you to John Hogan." You know, I'm like, they can understand each other because they have the same freaking dialect. Maybe his body is not allowing him to get back into the rhythm. Maybe it's just too tough. Maybe there's other neurological issues going on. Maybe it's some pugilistica there. You can get pugilistica that leads to dementia from head trauma. You can. Maybe that's, but I'm not a doctor. I'm just assuming a prognosis based off what we know from his out of the ring experiences that's obviously affected his boxing career. But did Crawford retire him? You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be a year. Yeah, it's going to be over a year before he steps back in the ring, and probably the same for Crawford. But the bad part about that story is that it's not a storybook ending for Crawford Spence being out of the ring for a year. They're not coming back to fight each other. That's over. Once again, Bud Crawford is showing people that he's very intellectual when it comes to business practices. He himself is activating. He's using the stones that he collected at the 147-pound division, and he's activating them to get the winner of Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. So let's get right down to it. I know y'all thinking, I know you've heard how people have been saying that if Sebastian Fundora is the winner, Crawford's going to have a very difficult time. Listen, Lubin has been able to drop Fundora. Mendoza has been able to drop Fundora. Carlos Ocampo has been able to go the distance. You understand? You see what I'm getting at? So when they look at Crawford and they look at Fundora's height, you're trying to tell me Crawford, with his boxing IQ, is incapable of figuring out a strategy? Him and Bomac, Return of the Mac, Return of the Mac, Red Spike, Esau. You trying to tell me that team over there cannot come up with a solid game plan to go in there and beat Sebastian Fundora? I don't care who he fight, whether it's Fundora or Tszyu. I got Crawford winning, period. Whether they like it or not, I got him winning. You know what I'm saying? Christopher said, I like that fight too. I like that fight, man. You know, I like that fight. Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, why not, man? You know what I'm saying? Both of them fighting for the first time at 154 since Spence was the freaking, unified champion at 147. Because we all know Spence had fought at the super welterweight division early in his career. We know that. But it's different now. It's different now because finally, the declaration that he had, he told Crawford, I'm coming for those effing belts. Okay, all right. Well, he showed up. He had his 3. Crawford had his 1. And we all saw how the fight went. I think Errol Spence is still seeing those eyes of TBC that you put on your thumbnail. Damn. You shouldn't remind him this late at night. Spence may be still up. You know what I'm saying? He might have just came off the ranch. And he's listening. He's like, damn, I thought they had forgot about shit. No, we ain't forgot, bro. Still no. People still gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? People still are going to talk about that. And he's gonna have to deal with it. Just like he was bragging about living out of pocket. You're gonna have to deal with that, man. Real talk. Don't let me go in the archives, man. Jay said Diddy James did him no favors. Caught the plane to the UK the same night. Yeah, he did. I see. I got the late night bandits. I got some marauders that's in the chat right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got the night ninjas. The midnight ninjas on deck, man. They bringing up stuff that's just gonna put the world class furniture store in disarray right now. They need all the peace they can get, y'all. They need all the serenity they can get. When they over there at that oasis in goddamn Texas, because they make them big in Texas, they need all the peace that they can rally, they can, you know what I'm saying, put together. They have 2 big fights coming up. And y'all over here talking about information that's going to get them off track, man. It's going to get them disorientated. It's going to have them feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Diddy James getting on a plane to the UK. You know, if you was to talk to, what? You had Anthony Joshua and you had to get on the plane. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, you're right. You're right. Anthony Joshua is a bigger name than Spence. You know what I'm saying? In the UK. And Derrick James, somehow, some way, AJ came over there to the World Class Furniture Store. He didn't stay long. He just came in there, dipped in, seen what was on the clearance rack, and seen all the items, you know, smelt all that freaking furniture polish, and he got the hell on. Period. I mean, I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. But he'll probably tell us straight up that why are you worried about where he went? Because he got that Joshua money. But what pissed Diddy off right now is that he didn't get that money over there in Saudi. When Joshua just fought over there, that's what he mad about. Joshua wanted, Diddy James wanted that Joshua money who fought in Ghana. You know what I'm saying? That's the money he want. He wanted that Joshua Otto Valine, but really that Joshua Ngannou money. He did. You know what I'm saying? For real. That man definitely put his cape on and flew straight to AJ. Yeah, he did. Man, you look. Your fighter got beat up like that. And you get on the plane for the UK. That means, hey, it was already that gap. You know, the 2-year gap that they had, it never been mended. They never been able to glue that together. When that 2-year gap, when they wasn't talking, and Spence tell the story how his dad, you know, put him in there for Derrick to be his coach, and he didn't want to, and they didn't really, you know, talk or have a personal conversation for 2 years. It was just training. That they never closed. It's not even scar tissue over that bitch. It never healed at all. It's always gonna be open. Shout out to Mike in the building. What's good, man? He didn't care. He left Spence behind. He say, man, somebody will figure it out. Think about that. You get beat up and your head coach that don't watch film, he's on his way to the UK to put baby oil on Joshua and get him ready to go in the ring. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You saw the way he was jumping up and down when Joshua walked out. And that's after. You know what I'm saying? That's after the weekend where the T-Mobile massacre happened. I got it. Dan, what's good with it? In the building. W said salute and shout out to the hottest chat. Appreciate you, Dan. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you pulling up. You know what I'm saying? But I just often think about, did Bud retire, Spence? I don't want him to, I don't want him to be retired like that due to medical issues, because truth be told, he's going to have to deal with that. And it's not going to get any better the older he get. So I don't know what his finances are like. I don't know if he's set for life. You know what I'm saying? In this day and time with inflation and according to what you living, how you living, you can run through some money now. You can run through some millions. Just look around boxing. You can run through some millions, but hopefully he's set, man. Hopefully he's good to go. That is going to be, we're talking about Canelo and how he's all shady with this 150 to 200 million. I wonder what Spence's value is going to be once he does return, if he returns. What is his value going to be based off one fight annihilation? I want to know what that value, what is his purse request? What is his monetary bar set at? What is his price point? What is the high, the middle to low? Which one is it? What's his middle? After the Crawford beating, did it drop back down below 10? Asking price under 10 million? I don't know. I can't put a finger on it. I don't know. I don't have the inside detail. I don't have the inside scoop. But I will have to say, he's only 28-1. But depending on who he's fighting, I doubt he's going to be able to request 15 million. I doubt it, man, because it's just too much out there on him. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I want the best case scenario that he's able to come back 154 and fight somebody, or even put himself on, align himself with fighting for one of the vacant titles, and then him and Crawford potentially can have this collision course. You know what I'm saying? Crawford goes in there and beat the winner of Fandor Zoo, and then you can have Spence waiting on here again. Say, hey, I'm here 154. We couldn't make the fight happen again at 147, but I have another title. This time, I think the people tune back in if it's at 154 and they both have titles up there. People will tune back in, but not so much at 147. I think people was done with that. They didn't want to see that massacre happen again. And they definitely didn't want to go ahead and make any more excuses for Spence like they did when he lost the first time at 154. And then check this out, y'all. If Spence can pick up a title at 154 again, it's no excuses. If he picks up a title, then that's what it is. He picks up a title. It ain't he weight drained and all this other nonsense. He was able to go up here and win a world title in his second division. So that might even boost her, even bigger rematch. As if it would have happened at 147, it might be even bigger at 154. Especially Crawford has 2 belts and Spence has 1. This is the road to undisputed again. That's when the aerosexuals may crawl up from beneath the dirt. You know what I'm saying? The piss-infested freaking landfills. They may show their face again and say, it's the road to undisputed again? Yeah, 154, man. They talking, man. I'm talking about it's busting out there that Terrence Crawford and Spence may fight at 154 now that they champions. Oh, wow. I miss Spence so much. Let me tell everybody. Let me get everybody together and see, can we leave this place? I'm not feeling too good. This has been hell on me. My lungs ain't right. My breathing, my respiratory. I feel so bad since last year. I do. Stop it, man. Stop it, you aerosexuals. Blunt says Spence got back on Twitter amidst all the Thurman drama and reiterated that he would not fight Thurman, even though they are both coming off injuries and moving up to 54. Well, hey, we do know one thing there, Blunts. We do know that Spence is not making the calls. He's not. Okay? You know what I'm saying? He's not making the calls. I heard Kenny Sims, just left the PBC, but I haven't heard Errol Spence leader. I haven't heard Keith Thurman. So that fight can very well happen. That fight can very well happen. It's an in-house fight too. That fight can very well happen, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Spence just want to go up here and be a party pooper, man. For real. He should stop playing in cow manure and goddamn get himself back in the gym. You know what I'm saying? That's what he should be doing. It's a shame because that's still a good fight, man. I don't too much believe Spence. Spence want to sit up here and be mad that he ain't gonna never fight freaking Thurman because Thurman didn't kiss his ass and give him a freaking a title for unification. He still got it though. That's why I think it's petty. You still got both of Keith Thurman's former belts, and you kept your IBF. What are you mad at? You just couldn't get that WBO. That's what the problem was. You couldn't get the WBO. W says, do you think he should hire Blu-ray again? I would like that, but mentally, I don't think Spence there for Blu-ray, man. Long as he with Diddy James, it's not gonna work. That's Diddy James' gym. That's his gym. So he has every right to kick people out and invite them in. Whoever he wants to invite, whoever he wants to uninvite. But I don't think Blu-ray right now, unless Diddy James have a change of heart and Spence conditioning is so bad, and he need a change up. You know what I'm saying? He needs some different type of energy. And they're able to come to an agreement and say, hey, I think we should go back to the retro. I think we should get Blu-ray back in the building and see can he get Spence motivated to get back in shape. I like it. Man, I've been plugging. They need to go back to the retro. They need to get Blu-ray back in there with the fitness and get IOTBA back in there as the media. Period. That would bring Errol Spence to the mother effing surface, bro. That would bring him to stand in front of goddamn under the sunlight. If he get the old crew back, I just think his whole his whole damn media exposure, you know what I'm saying? It just would do him wonders, man, to go back to the old crew. Because, man, there was so many cats on here talking about Blu-ray. Like, man, I got mad respect for Blu-ray, man. Real talk, You know what I'm saying? I listened to his live streams and shit. Like, I got mad respect, man. I was that's a cool cat right there. I have nothing bad to say about Blu-ray, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool brother right there, man. And I just wish Diddy James wasn't who he is. Just maybe, being that you did mention him, Chris, just think about what if Blu-ray was in the camp. Would he have been running up the hills on fight week? Because Blu-ray would have got him into shape. You know what I'm saying? Blu-ray would have definitely got Spence into shape to the point where he wouldn't have been running up Mount Charles Mountain, you know what I'm saying, on fight week. Come on, man. Who does that? I think Blu-ray could have got that man in tip-top condition, bro. But due to the stubbornness of Diddy James, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? In fact, great fight. Both of them got exams to pass. The only thing I want to see both of them pass is medicals. I don't think they need a tune-up for one another. I don't think so. Just think about it. How long was Thurman off when he came back and fought Pac? You know what I'm saying? Think about how long Spence has been out in the past 5 years. So they don't need a tune-up. They can go right in the ring and fight. They experienced enough. They've been in the game enough. Yes. They can go right in the ring and fight. Real talk. They don't need no tune-up, bro. They good. They good. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But, if I look at, is there a way for Diddy James to let Blu-ray in there? I'm thinking it's always a way, but Errol will have to be the one who pushed for the consent, because ultimately it is Diddy James's gym. But EJ, I don't know where to respect that. I don't know where that barometer, I don't know where the meter is at. I don't know where it's at between him and Diddy James. I don't know if they still, 100% on that fighter trainer, healthy relationship type shit. I don't know. That was a tremendous beatdown, man. That was a tremendous beatdown right there. I don't know, man. It gets funky at the end of the day. I want to see that fight, man. Now that, yeah. I wasn't even having it on my radar because If Keith Thurman just was injured in fight camp, and then you had Errol Spence with cataracts, both of these guys may not fight to the end of 2024. And the good thing about it, they still there, right? They still underneath Al Heyman. So it's possible, man. It's possible, dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the OG Bruce Gas Boxing Jackson Moore. What's good with it, Bruce? In the building. You know, they could possibly do it. But it'll be at the end of the year. By then, they may have developed this different type of freaking Wakanda Band-Aid that you can put on the injury and it heals it up and even gives you special strength. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they need them vibranium band-aids, you know what I'm saying, to give the Spence and freaking Thurman. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, I say that's a damn good fight right there. Two fighters has been on a hiatus. You know what I'm saying? Injury, the eye for Spence, and then whatever, the bicep for Thurman. Yeah, they weren't able to get it in at 147 inside the square. Maybe at 154. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that, man. And I don't know if y'all heard that Jess Bam Rodriguez is leaving flyweight and he's going to Superfly to chase Juan Estrada. I just thought I'd throw you in. I throw you that little cherry. You know what I'm saying? I throw you that little bowl of cherry. Goddamn Bam Rodriguez is going for Juan Estrada, who vacated the WBC belt that time. You know what I'm saying? And he was elevated to franchise champion. And that's when he opened the door for Jess Rodriguez to basically come up there, win the title, defend the title, drop back down, pick up another title at junior, and then beat Sonny Edwards, man. Good shit, man. Good shit. But y'all hold it down, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about close to an hour. Y'all hold it down. We should do it again. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.